I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, I like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
We'll get started in about 1 minute. Thank you for being here.
All right. Let's get started on this.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
Happy
morning.
Friday.
Yes. Happy Friday.
How's everyone doing? Finally made it to the weekend. Skies are blue. It's not smoky either.
I know.
Nice.
Finally.
So stoked about that. So I want to welcome everybody today. We are creating this weekly series to inform you about a lot of different things that are going on our campus. I'm Michael Castro. I'm the Enrollment Services Coordinator at San Jose City College. And this is...
And I'm Ben Granger. I'm the counselor, general counseling for San Jose City College, and also at the Milpitas Extension.
Great. So today we're going to talk about how to access your online student resources. We'll be demoing your Canvas platform, how to get the most out of Canvas. Maybe you've seen a lot of links or modules there that you're just like, I don't know what this is. So we're going to try and tackle some of that stuff today. We're also going to talk a little bit more about college news in terms of campus reopening and stuff like that. If we have time left at the end, maybe, because we're only a half hour here, we'll have a Q&A. We'll do some question and answers.
Yeah. We wanted to do these just as an informal way to get information to students, but also this particular today's session, because with the pandemic and COVID-19 and everything, the campus is closed, obviously. But just because the campus is closed doesn't mean the college is closed. And that's a really important distinction, that just because the campus is closed doesn't mean the college is closed. And the college is still open, and all the resources that you have available to you as college students are still available. They're just in a slightly different format than you may be familiar with or have used in the past. And that's going to be, virtually through an online format. And so being able to navigate those resources can be helpful when you need them further on down the road. So so let's go ahead and get started. All right.
So like Ben mentioned, everything's migrated pretty much online. So this is also an attempt to get you to understand how to utilize all these online tools, since we'll be online, it looks like, till spring and maybe after.
Yeah,
so
who knows? Yeah.
See what happens. So right now I'm basically going to jump right into a Canvas. I'm going to go through my Canvas module. I also take classes at San Jose City College. I believe in constant learning no matter what. So where am I? 1 second, everybody. I think that's it. Oh, there's so many up here. I don't know which screen to use. Oh, screen 2, screen 3. Oh, there it is. Okay, great. Sorry about that, everyone. So first off, what we do is everyone should know how to access their Canvas account by this time. If not, at the end, you can email me. You can even chat me in there and let me know, hey, I'm still having trouble with my Canvas account, or how to log in and whatnot. But this is how you can always get to it through the website. You can always go to our main SJCC main, and there's quick links on the right-hand side. These quick links actually are in alphabetical order. So you just go to Canvas, and that's how you would do it. You go straight to Canvas. Once you get to Canvas, it's going to pull you over to your Canvas account. You should all know that by now. If you don't, like I said, we can help you at the very end. Now, these are the modules. Like I said, I take classes. Right now, I'm taking a data science class, which is really interesting. But this is how your dashboard is going to look. It's going to line up all the classes you do have. If you're a full-time college student, then you're going to see 4 or 5 of these modules. And so I'm going to take you through my module. Now, every module is a little different. Okay, so what that means is each instructor has their own way of lining up their modules. So there may be items here that you're seeing that other instructors don't have available on your modules. So one of the big ones is assignments, of course. Assignments. Now, a lot of instructors will do it by homework, by lab, but Ben, can you talk about how you line up your module for your classes?
Yeah, so I would say that there's 2 main ways that instructors line up their modules, and I'm going to actually share my screen to show you the 2 different examples. Okay, So I've used both of these different ways to organize in the past. And I don't know if I have a preference as an instructor. Students might have a preference one way or another as a student though. The first way I'll show is by dividing it or organizing it via the date or by time. So usually it's broken down by weeks. So for example, everything you need for that particular week, whether it's a reading assignment, a homework assignment, a test or quiz, discussion posts, basic handouts, anything you need for that week would be listed under that week. And then as the class goes on, each week kind of just pops up once it's available, and you would go in and do it that way. So that's a nice way to do it because it's very structured, you know, time-wise, it's delineated out. You can see everything you need for that week, you know, to make sure that you don't get behind. And when you're going through a week, let me choose a week that has several things like this week. You can just hit next down at the bottom and it will just take you to the next thing in that week. Going on, it'll just take you through all the things that the instructor has posted for that week. So, so that's one way to do it is through the modules, through the weeks. There's definitely some advantages to doing it that way. The other way to do it would be to break down the assignments, not based off of week, but based off of type of assignment. So for that, you know, you'd see all the, you know, homework assignments in one category, all the journal assignments in the other category, all the quizzes in another category, all the, essays or discussion posts in another category. And so by breaking it down by category, within each category, they are ordered by due date. But overall, you have to look at each category to see the different things in that category. So whether the instructor decides to organize their class by week and due dates or by category of assignment, it's really just the instructor's preference, but you should be familiar with each of those layouts because you'll definitely see both of them kind of going forward. I don't think that there's one that's more common than the other. Again, it's just completely up to that instructor's preference.
Perfect. So, great. So that's great. So you can categorize your weeks. So some instructors do that, some don't. Like my instructor here just does it by homework and lab. But also, some instructors require other things outside of Canvas. So understand that when you go into it. Taking online classes, like I use Slack, or we're supposed to use Slack as our communication tool. And that's a great communication tool for students. It's live, it's real-time stuff. But anyway, yes, you may need to use other stuff, but this is your home base right here. This is where your classroom, your assignments, your gradings, all that. Discussions. Can you talk a little bit about the discussions area and how do you?
Definitely. So I don't use discussions in my classes because my classes are all live classes where we're in Zoom and we're talking and we're discussing just, you know, actually at all together. But I have seen discussion posts used in other classes with other classes that I've taken and even classes I've taught in the past where the part of the class is not synchronous. So where it's an asynchronous, and that's basically just to get conversation going between students. Frequently what you'll see is an instructor will have some sort of discussion topic or post where you have to respond to that topic. They'll give you a prompt, you respond to the prompt. And then you also then have to respond to, say, to other people's responses. And so it sort of builds a conversation that way. So that's really, really common, especially again in classes where there's not a live synchronous presentation, where the instructor can't just break you into groups or rooms and you can talk to each other that way. And so frequently these discussions, it's actually for a grade. You know, you're required to post in the discussion and then respond to 2 other posts as part of your grade. So that's a very, very common thing that you'll see in a lot of online asynchronous classes.
Excellent. So yeah, so we hear asynchronous and synchronous, right? You get that term's been thrown out a lot. What is the difference between an asynchronous and a synchronous class?
Yeah, it's especially important to know right now during COVID and the pandemic, because there's a kind of a mix of both types of classes out there. So synchronous means happening at the same time. So a synchronous class is essentially just a regular class. It meets specific days and specific times, say Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 o'clock, or Wednesdays at 6 o'clock, or whatever. But there's specific days and specific times where it meets. But instead of going down to the college, to the campus, and sitting in a classroom, you just log onto your computer and you attend class from there. But it still has that specific time. You have to be available during that time to attend class. And then most instructors use Zoom. Some might use something like Google Hangouts or some other platform in order to facilitate the class, but frequently, most commonly, Zoom. So that would be synchronous. Everything's happening at the same time. Asynchronous classes are a little bit more flexible because they don't have a specific time that you have to go to class. So in that case, the instructor would record their lectures and post them online, and then you can view them whenever you want. So this could be, for example, a class that would be really helpful to take if you were working a lot, had strange work hours that changed from time to time, or if you have family obligations where it's difficult to fit a class in during the regular class time because you have kids running around and that you have to deal with. As both Michael and I know. So in those kinds of situations, having the flexibility of an asynchronous class can be really, really helpful. Maybe this week you do all your assignments, watch the videos, and you do it all, first thing in the morning. But maybe your work schedule doesn't allow you to do that. Maybe you watch the lectures on your lunch break. Maybe you wait till everyone's at bed and asleep and watch them at 10 o'clock at night. It doesn't really matter when you do them, as long as you get them done by the deadlines that the instructor sets. So it's not completely self-paced. It's not like you can wait till the end of the semester and then just do everything. Usually they'll break it into chapters or units, either weekly or bi-weekly. So you have all the assignments, everything you need to do for that chapter. And as long as you do it by the due date and then start on the next chapter, then it's fine. So that would be an asynchronous class. So I think both types of classes have their pros and cons. I definitely think that the asynchronous does require a higher level of student responsibility, a higher level of student time management. For me, I think it's a little bit easier to fall behind when the class is kind of flexible like that. But again, some people's lives just require that additional flexibility, and it's really helpful to have if that's the case.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And I think me personally, I like the hybrid model where you do have the option to do some synchronous stuff, but mostly it's online stuff. I think that's a really great feature as well.
Kind of best of both worlds if you can
Best
do
of
a
both
hybrid
worlds.
class. Yeah.
For sure. And then I just want to really quickly show, even if you're doing synchronous or asynchronous, you're going to have due dates. You're going to have these due dates, and they're going to close you out, right? So like due September 10th, if I did not do that assignment, then what would have happened is I wouldn't be able to turn it in, right? And that will affect your grade. Depending on, well, we'll jump to syllabus actually right now. Depending on your syllabus will always be in these modules as well. It'll always be in every classroom. It's very important. Basically, your syllabus, from what I understand it to be, is a contract between you and your instructor, right? It holds all information like due dates, class meetings, expectations, really important. But can you talk a little bit more about how you do your syllabus?
Yeah, absolutely. So the syllabus is always going to have a couple of mandatory things that have to be in the syllabus. It's going to have the official class description. It's going to have a list of major assignments and hopefully due dates. It's going to have the class meeting times. It's going to have the textbook information. Um, and it's going to have both the class and then also some college policies, policies on late work, policies on absences, policies on extra credit, all that kind of thing. Again, it's vital that you have your syllabus, that you remember, you look at your syllabus, you read it, that you keep it. Frequently, I've seen this in where, you know, say you transfer to another college or university, if they want to see what you did in a particular class to see if it's going to be transferable or not, they may ask for a copy of the syllabus. So that syllabus is super important. It's usually the first thing you get in class. You get it that very first day of class, and then you should keep it. You should save it. It's not to say the syllabus can't ever change. So say, you know, in the schedule, like the section that Michael's showing you down there with the schedule of assignments and due dates, you know, sometimes in class you get behind. Maybe in class we don't cover as much as we were hoping to, and so we have to push back the next class a little bit to cover, you know, what we didn't finish from this class. So it's possible that those dates could change, but you know, if that's the case, the instructor will always give you advance notification and be like, hey, I'm pushing this back because of this reason. But still, that syllabus, every single class has them. Some colleges, like I know San Jose State, they're always green. For whatever reason, they call them the green sheet for the university at San Jose State. And so, I guess that they're required to print it on green paper for whatever reason. But anyway, that's just, yeah, I think that's funny.
Great, thank you, Ben. And then, so going back to grading, grade policy, I mean, you can look up your grades here. Usually instructors will grade. I'm doing pretty good. All right.
Yeah, look at you. Lots of hundreds there.
Yeah,
ooh, a 95.
I know, what?
Blacker.
But your grades are here. You're able to see them, the due dates here. They had closed, and there's usually penalties if you turn them in late. So that's great. People, this is another really quick feature I'm going to go through. You could potentially reach out to people. Like I said, we use Slack, so I don't really use this feature myself as a student. But you can just pick people, and you can just start within your classroom. If this module is open by the instructor, because not all instructors do this, and you can send a message directly to somebody. Right, so you type your message, you put it in. The good feature about this is it also emails at the same time. So it announces to the person in Canvas, but it also emails them for the email that is on file with us. Yeah. So I just wanted to briefly go over that. And then conferences, I don't think you use these, Ben, and I don't
No,
really
I haven't used conferences.
I don't think we'll go over that. Collaborations, this is an interesting piece. I know you mentioned you don't use these directly, but you do use the Google Doc collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best things about Canvas is that it is fully integrated with Google Docs. So if you have a Google account and a Google Drive, you just have to, if you scroll down just a little bit, Michael, you can say authorize Google Drive access, and it will, you sign into your Google account, and then you can upload documents directly from Google straight into Canvas. You can open shared documents between that multiple people have access to, and that way you can, if you're working on a group project, you can collaborate together. You can all be in the same document typing at the same time. So I think that the Google Docs collaboration feature, I think that the way that you can upload Google Docs directly into Canvas is really, really helpful. If you are a user of Google Docs, it's really fantastic. So unfortunately, our campus is not a Google campus, and so we're a Microsoft campus, and so we'll actually talk about that in just a second, because it doesn't have the same functionality as with Microsoft. You can still upload like assignments through Microsoft, but they don't have the same collaboration ability through Microsoft. So not 100% as good.
Right. So you can basically just link to your Google Suite or Google account, your Drive, via this. And that's great about Canvas is it actually has this integration between different, it has applications that you can integrate, such as Google. Zoom. Zoom is another one. So I'll jump over to Zoom really quick to talk about that. So my class, we don't really use this area in Zoom because, like I said, we use Slack, and all of our Zoom stuff is in Slack. But can you explain a little bit more about how you use the Zoom area in your module?
So different instructors will use this Zoom part differently. They may use it for class. So that's how I use it, is I have all my classes set up in here. And so you can actually see it on your little calendar. Some instructors put their office hours in here as well. And you can just kind of, you'll have a little calendar and be able to, see what's on your upcoming schedule. So it's nice that it's incorporated within Canvas.
Excellent. It looks like you could even do appointment booking with your
I think so. Yeah. Like if, for example, if you have a TA or an instructor with office hours listed, my office hours might be for 2 hours and I have 4 half-hour time slots possibly, or something like that. That could be a possibility.
Perfect. And then I believe this is an area that probably houses, if instructors choose to use this area, would house their recordings if they're recording their lectures.
Yes.
And so you may want to look in this area to see if they are utilizing this, and if this is where they are putting the recordings, or they've probably already let you know they're putting the recording out in some other way, or giving it to you, and maybe in some other way. So I know ours are on our Slack account. Next, I'm gonna throw it over to you because we're running a little bit low on time, Ben, on how to access your student email.
Yeah.
So everybody has a student email through us, through San Jose City College, and you also have access to Microsoft Suite, which just saves you hundreds of dollars if you were to purchase, all of that package by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Along with that college ID that gains you access potentially to other discounts or student discounts. In other
right. Yeah, there's a lot that you need a student email address for in order to get, different types of discounts and stuff. And so a lot of people don't know that the college creates a student email address for you just automatically. So the way that you would access that is down here on the main website under quick links. Again, we're going to go back under quick links, same like we did for Canvas. We use this pretty much for everything to navigate the website. But you'll go down to where it says Office 365 student email. Now, the first time you've used it, you have to activate it. And so you would click on this link. Now, your username will be the same as your MyWeb username. So that means it's the first 2 letters of your first name, first 2 letters of your last name, and then the last 4 of your student ID number. So, first 2 first name, first 2 last name, last 4 student ID number. And then the ending is @stu.sjcc.edu. If this is your first time logging in, your password should be the same as your MyWeb password. If it's your first time logging in, though, you may have to reset it. And then once you are logged in, you have access to a student email address. That student email address is needed. I know Amazon does student discounts. A lot of other sites will give you a discount on products or services with a student email address, so it's really helpful to have. The other reason why you might want that student email address, let me just go here. So I'm already logged in, obviously, so it's just my email, but it does give you access to the online version of Microsoft Office. So the idea with Microsoft Office, if you were to go out and purchase Microsoft Office on your own, just to get Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, those 3, the basic, like home edition, it would probably be like $95. If you wanted the full version that also has things like Access and some of those other programs, it would be over $100. what this gives you access to is the free online version. So you can get Word online. So it's almost exactly like Word for your regular computer, just you have to be connected to the internet to be able to use it. But you can start just a Word document, do your essays, do your homework assignments in Word, and then you can share them as email attachments. You can upload them to Canvas again, anything like that. So this is a really powerful piece of software. Same with PowerPoint for doing presentations, and same for Excel for doing worksheets. So this is a fantastic piece of software that saves you a lot of money. And you have access to this, I believe. I don't think they discontinue your student email address for a long time after you stop being a student. You can still gain access to it. So, I would encourage you to really use this as much as you can. I think eventually, if you stop being a student, they do eventually discontinue your access, but it's not right away. It's not for a long time. So, yeah, very, very helpful tool to have. A lot of good products within Microsoft.
So I have a really quick question is, may I get the link to the instructions on how to get access to the student email?
Yeah.
Please share.
Yes, we'll go ahead and put that in the chat. Oh, cool. All right, so Michael, you want to wrap it up with the tutoring and NetTutor?
Yes, excellent. We'll do that right now. Let me share my screen again. And we're about to finish this off really quick. I know everybody wants to get to lunch or has a lot to do. So great. All right, so I'm back to our Canvas module. As you can see, there's a lot of features here. Not every module is going to have all these features loaded because each faculty member will create it the way they feel it works for their students. And then we have NetTutor. NetTutor is very great. It's a tutor. It's an online tutor. And this is how you can access. So if you have these questions, usually math questions or even programming questions, you can really get an answer for anything that you're enrolled in. So what you would do is you go to NetTutor, and then you pick what area you need help in. So these are all like basically the majors we have, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much every subject area. I can't think of a single class that we have that wouldn't fit someplace in one of these categories. We don't always call them the same thing. Like they call criminal justice, we call it administration of justice. But essentially, it's literally every subject that we have.
So typically, there's no live tutor available at this time. So they have office hours themselves, and here they are. So if you click on it, it'll say, today there's no office hours, right? But Thursday from 4 to 8, it looks like all week from 4 to 8, you have a live person available to you to answer those questions online. So you can it's basically like a live chat, like a live web bot. But it's a real person on the other end, and you basically just send over your question, right? You type it up and send it over, and then they answer it like pretty quickly in real time. Or you can also schedule an appointment, or and I know we're running out of time, but you can schedule an appointment here, or you can drop off the question, which is also a good idea. I think if you drop a question off, like I did one in the past, proceed to question entry. It brings you to this almost like a Jamboard of some sort.
Yeah, it's like a whiteboard.
Right. So you can use this board to, I don't know, you can draw on it. You can just do text on it. You're like, maybe I need this or that. I don't know, but basically, you can write your questions here and send it off, and then you basically just ship it off. They'll receive it during their office hours or during those hours, right? And then you would submit it. I wonder what they're going to say to me. But you'll submit it, and then what happens is you're going to get an email. An email comes to you. So it also goes to your Canvas account, but also an email will come to you. Hey, your question's been answered, or there's been a question, we've received it, and now we processed it. And then at some point in time, after you drop your question off, it's going to be in your locker. So I submitted one question, return one question, and it'll show, it usually just shows the question or answer right here from what I remember. Return back. So if I click that, I'm sure it'll take me out to it again. But it gives you an opportunity to ask these questions, get these back, and during office hours, if you still are not able to understand the content, you can go during the office hours and let them know, hey, I got it back, but I don't really quite understand these parts of it now. So anyway, this is a neat tool. This is free tutoring. If you were to pay a tutor to do computer science or math or whatever, English, I mean, you're talking like $50 an hour or $60 an hour, right? $30, $40 an hour. So in this case, it's free. So this comes with you being a student. This is a student resource that I think is really unique, really fun, really cool. And then the last piece is there's library. You have access to library. It basically just takes you to our library tab, and this is where you're able to access all the library's resources, which is a lot of free resource, a lot of cool tools, virtual library. Can you talk a little bit really quickly about the virtual library, Ben, and what you use it for?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously the best thing to use the library for, even though they're closed, is their electronic resources. So that includes electronic textbooks, ebooks for rental, but then also their electronic databases for articles, which is really, really important as well when you're doing research. Honestly, the library there's so much there in terms of what's available. It needs to be its own, separate presentation, because you can spend just hours and hours exploring everything that our library has for students and figuring out how to use it. But I guess that the main thing to know is, even though the building is closed, there's people available to help, and with the library, the librarians are still available even during COVID times, and there's still a lot of resources available even during COVID as well.
Excellent. Great. And that about wraps it up today. If you have any questions, feel free to email us those questions. I'm Michael, and this is Ben. I'm going to chat you our email addresses. I'm sure you know them though, but I'm going to stop share first. I'm going to chat you our email addresses. Also, I have Zoom available. I have Zoom hours, and Ben does as well. So I'm michael.castro@sjcc.edu. Oh, whoops, to everybody. And then it's Benjamin.Granger. And we have Zoom hours as well. So one last thing I guess I'll show you is our Zoom hours, and then we'll head out of here. Our Zoom hours give you the opportunity to meet with us like this, but with one-on-one. So if you have one-on-one questions and you really need help with something, are you seeing the screen, Ben?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Great. So this is our SJCCX Milpitas extension .com website. So this houses a lot of information too. If you go to Meet Today on the very front page, it's going to give you our office hours, or Zoom office hours. So I'm available 10 to 1 Monday through Thursdays, and Fridays 1 to 3. So once you click on this button, it'll take you straight to my Zoom, and that's how that works. And also same thing with Ben. His hours are Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, 3 to 4:30. Meanwhile, he teaches and he does appointments too. So we're all very busy, and so yeah, this is another way for you to meet with counseling. If you need help, like if you're struggling in class, Ben's here for you. You guys can make an academic plan together, which I highly recommend if you haven't done it. And then me, if you're like, how do I access my web? How do I access Canvas? What do I use this stuff for? How do I register? What are the dates? What are the timelines? When can I withdraw? When there's a lot of information for you getting into classes and out of classes that I can really help you with. Also, financial aid. If you have questions on financial aid, I can help you with that, or I can at least lead you in the right direction. And I know Ben, he's also a pretty good expert. He used to do that too. And that's it. So thanks for joining us today, everybody. We're going to be at it next week, same time, 11:30 to 12. And I think we may be touching upon UC and CSU and what the differences are.
Yeah.
So thanks for your time, everyone. Really appreciate it. Stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.